That's good. Hello everyone. Welcome to our online educational platform educlasses.co.in. Today we have invited Dr. Dilip. He is a co-chancellor in Commonwealth University and he is a MSME expert. Today he will share with us the situation of SME industries after post-COVID-19. So let's get started. Hello sir.
Hello. Thank you, Mitesh, for having me here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to your, EdTech company. What I'm going to about to share with you all is a result of a research that we carried out, and it's still relevant.
Okay.
And then I will try and delve what the SMEs could do.
Okay, sir.
The importance of SME comes from the fact that they are the ones who are the real engines of growth ultimately.
Okay, sir.
And they are also the ones where employment both in the formal and the informal sector can be got, which is another vexing problem is facing. And yesterday's report has been very, very disturbing when everything is just plummeting. So it is all the more reason why the manufacturing must grow through the SMEs. So here it is. SME, of course, is the largest provider of employment after agriculture. And though agriculture is the largest, it is very seasonal.
Yes, sir.
India has, of course, raised its contribution and all that. This I won't go. So the government has time and again, whether this government or the previous government have tried to do something. There has been a recognition of this.
Yes.
Okay. So the latest one, of course, is Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, and Digital India. These were all those kind of initiatives which were like Make in India was, of course, looking at what we can do here in India rather than depend outside. This latest, I'll come to this later. It was then realized that without the necessary skills, global level skills, it won't. So to reinforce that, we went into Skill India. Make in India and Skill India was not enough. So there was another, initiative taken on Startup India, because we need to move away from job seeking culture to a job giving culture.
Yes,
that is becoming important. However, when you are small, when wrestling with the global giants, the MNCs, you need some level playing field. Otherwise, with shallower pockets, with lesser resources, you are sometimes, it's very easy to kick you out. And therefore, the government realized that the platform could be digital, where you can reach out.
Yes.
Okay. So this was the logic, I believe, that the government of India must have taken. However, that is not just enough. So the first thing that came was funding is something which really the MSMEs feel they're not, sometimes they are not able to do things. So Startup India as a scheme was, started, and then they realized that the micro level are even worse off.
Yes.
So Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana was started.
Okay.
And then after having started everything on the supply side, obviously if there are no consumers, no domestic consumers, then no matter what we do, we will not be able to. And therefore, Jan Dhan Yojana was started where monies could be transferred directly, etc. So then the wealth was going to be, the idea was to distribute the wealth, or the idea still is to distribute the wealth. How much it has succeeded, how much it has not succeeded, let's not get into it for now. Because for MSME, these are the things that are important, that really happen. And this has not been happening in just this present government, it has been happening earlier too. There were other schemes also. So it is not just enough to be able to get supports. It is also necessary that we support ourselves.
Yes, sir.
the best help is the self-help.
Self-help.
There is a very old saying. When I was a kid, I was told in school and at home also that God only helps those who help themselves.
Yes, that's true.
So that is the idea behind this Atmanirbharta. Atmanirbharta definitely does not mean that if you can do everything, but the ability to be self-sufficient, self-contained, and therefore competitive. Okay. That is the important aspect that needs to be seen, and particularly after this COVID thing, yes, or even during the COVID thing, the more we are able to do this, the better it is. And therefore, we are actually sharpening our teeth and nail to be able to be competitive. Yes. So these were the factors that were taken for what could be. So vibrant and rapidly changing economy. This is where since 30 to 40% of what is being done is contributed by MSMEs. So it is very, very important that they rise up and contribute to the nation. Then government is doing what it's doing, and government is continuing to do what it's doing. So that's one aspect. We can sit down and keep crying that government should do this, government should do that, but that is one thing. Okay. The issue is, what can you do? I mean, Kennedy did say, ask not what the nation can do for you, ask what you can do. And this is the time when SMEs now have to buck up. Build modern infrastructure. Of course, there is an element of what the government must do. It has done a lot and it can do a lot. But let us look at our own factories, our own facilities. Are we at the best? Or do we need to do something innovative? Sometimes when the money is not there, innovation works. Have we been able to do? There are things like AI and design thinking. At least the design thinking really does not cost money. Okay, it's a way of thinking.
It's a way of thinking.
We could do a separate webinar whenever your people want it on that particular thing. But this is an important aspect where you need to help yourself. Okay. Let's not say bad roads, no power and all that. I mean, those are there. I mean, we have to live with it just like we need to live with Corona. But then we have to build our own immunity. You know, it's not those.
Not good. So,
then setting up systems that are technology driven. Obviously, all this, I'll speak about this later. Enhancing democratic government has already done fantastic provisions have been made. Now it is up to SMEs to go up and send their people. Okay, yes. And then of course strengthening of supply chain. So you have to think through how and what must be done. Sometimes are we really taking a very long route and therefore adding to costs and therefore making it unaffordable for the customers, particularly post-pandemic when incomes are down, jobs are not there. We need to look at efficiencies again and again. So this is what are the factors that I think are required. Now, during my research, where I took in about 557 MSMEs, mainly in the automotive sector, because my professional job when I was in the industry was in the automotive sector, so I understood that better.
Yes.
But by and large, all this will be applicable to all the sectors. So there are, we'll crib about strict statutory requirements. They are required to channelize the economy.
Okay.
And therefore, rather than resist it, let us first work it before we can go back to the government, which is not really happening.
Yes.
Then lack of awareness. This is a very important aspect. You know, if there is no awareness of what's happening in and around you, then how can you plan?
Definitely.
How can you action anything? You don't action anything unless you are aware of what's it. You know, the difference between risk-taking and suicide is only that risk-taking is done with a certain amount of knowledge. Suicide is just jumping off the hill.
Yes.
And therefore, if you're not aware of anything, and you are just saying, okay, if he did it, I will also do it, and he, you know, I got better marks, and therefore I am better than him. Doesn't work.
Yes.
In fact, we have n number of examples of people who are not really qualified and who have succeeded. Like how you take our own Dhirubhai Ambani,
There are so
you
many
take
examples.
Bill Gates, you
Bill
take
Gates, Steve Jobs,
Steve Jobs, you take anyone.
so many.
Okay, there are many. I mean, the latest, of course, he's usually in the news, is Sushant Singh. He is not qualified to be an actor, but
Yes.
there you are. He is aware. He was aware, and he was trying to do things, and he was building in his qualification into what the talent was. Okay, so the other thing is low volumes and high technology. Now, one of the things that I found in this research was that most SMEs, even in the automotive sector, which is relatively high technology, can't think big.
Yes.
And unless you dream big, unless you think big, there is no real motivation to go for it. Then, of course, high R&D costs. This is, at least in the automotive sector, we in Pune, which is where I'm based, the government has set up a very high-end, R&D center in an auto hub that has been created. Now, you can take the horse to the pool, but the drinking part has to be done by the horse.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So that is the other thing. Then, of course, licensing. This is a necessary evil, and we must accept it for simple reason that this is, to me, a CSR activity. Every one of us, and therefore there has to be a third umpire who would look at how the society might get impacted. This unpredictable part is a result of lack of awareness,
Okay.
is the result of, constantly not looking around, okay? No technologies, basically going for something cheaper often results in something which is more expensive actually, because it is less productive.
Yes.
And therefore, adaptation to technology, or what should I say, be receptive of that rather than resisting it, is an important factor, which even in high-tech sector like automotive, you find, and these are run mainly by engineers, even they are not open to it. So that's another area of concern where working has to be done. Poor infrastructure, I've already spoken. High processing, monitoring, costs of loans. Now this is mainly happening because one of the things that when comparing it to my experiences in Europe, the SMEs here try to be very, very confidential, very, very secretive about the thing. It's like somebody going to a doctor and saying, "Mere ko to dard ho raha hai."
Yes.
And if the doctor wants to question, he says, "नहीं वो सब छोड़ो, मेरे को दर्द हो रहा है, ये ठीक कर दो." Okay. So and then coming out and saying, "वो डॉक्टर को कुछ मालूम नहीं है, यार उसने कुछ मदद नहीं की," this is what it is. So if I want loan, if I want to, I have to be transparent as to what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do, and how this is going to be, because nobody is going to come to you to give you a loan without any ulterior motives of making a profit himself,
Yes.
whether it be government banks or whether it be anybody. Okay, so here what is happening is that they are not able to, because they don't want to reveal many documents, even if they have it. Often they don't even have it. I mean, I will not necessarily say that they are bad, but so what happens is that the formal sector is not often available to them, at least in the short run.
Okay.
Because there is no advanced planning, there are no documentation, all that kind of thing. So what happens is that they have to go into the informal sector, which automatically makes their loans much, much more expensive. And resulting from this, actually, they are always constrained for finance because of this high cost. They are not able to take adequate amount. The converse is also true. There are some people who are overfunded, which also makes them unproductive. So that kind of thinking will come out of a strategic plan where this awareness part is an important thing.
So this main thing is awareness.
Yes, awareness is an important thing, because from there only, I mean, anything, if you're not aware, then you don't know what you have to do, you know. So this is what is, you know, there is this Dunning-Kruger effect, which is it right that to remain ignorant? And you know, this is something which my personal interviews with many of these SMEs, they say, you know, I was reading this during my research. Would you like to know about it? And he says, yeah, I'm aware of it. Whether he's aware or not, that I'm not sure. But I'm aware of it, but I don't want to probe deeper into it. I'm okay as I am. So that kind of a contentment, or that kind of a feeling of being artificially satisfied, builds in lethargy and builds in procrastination, which affects people. And these are the results of that. You know, I am not getting into all the charts, but they wanted to carry on their business in the way that they always did. And there is this old saying that if you do what you always do, you will get what you always want. And that is going to be a constant struggle. You don't want to get out of it. You are happy, you know, in your own kind of struggle. They largely believe that nothing is going to cause a negative impact. Many of them felt that we are such great engineers, such great scientists, and we have discovered this, which they may or may not have actually.
Yes, sir. Even Narayan Murthy told once that half of our engineers doesn't know how to work in the industrial world.
Exactly. So this is what I'm trying to say. So it is time that they need to question themselves.
Yes.
You see, I have a way of saying there's a difference between a literate and an educated.
Yes.
The difference is just three. First, an educated person must be a curious person. A literate person will be a bookworm, and he can vomit out anything from the books anytime. The next important thing is education must get into you is you know, a humility to be able to bend down not only in front of your superiors but your juniors and even the lowliest of the lowly to gain knowledge.
Yes.
And the third one is the ability to, in a very civilized manner, challenge the status quo. If you can't do it, then there is no question of a growth.
Yes,
it automatically means that you are actually going to try and slide. So, and the slide begins in happy times. Yes. The slide doesn't begin in COVID times. So if you have not really looked at it and have found out that, okay, how would it affect me? How could I leverage a particular factor or a particular thing happening? It won't happen. So, and then of course, many of them, because they were like king cat's whiskers or whatever you might like to say, felt that nothing bad can happen. It's only this government. And when somebody new or somebody more competitive comes, they would blame that they are unethical, etc., etc. So while external criticism is always an easy way out, you know, MSMEs or the businesses, if they can't criticize themselves, then failure is a sure recipe.
Definitely.
Okay, this I will not go. This is some of those observations that came out of it.
Okay.
Now these are the larger questions. So one that the SMEs need to do, where these are the performance indicator, where you know, unfortunately I can't read it. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, it's not so visible.
Anyway, I don't know how to clear it. You know, when I was doing it on my laptop, it was coming out well.
Okay.
I don't know what I did. Anyway, the issue is that first is understanding the external environment, which is the institutional and regulatory matters. Okay.
Yes.
After having understood that, not only within your country, because SMEs actually, do 40% of our export is through the SMEs.
SME.
So then they must study how they are going to access domestic market, obviously the first, and then what are the markets that they can establish. So again, a whole lot of criteria I had given. Then access to what are the kind of resources they need: funding, machinery, manpower, technologies. So all that has to be. And then there has to be, the other issue is the risk-taking ability. Unfortunately, in India, I come from the state of Bihar.
Okay.
Probably a peon in a government office, one way of looking at it is, maybe I'm saying it lightly, is the marriage market. A peon in a government office draws a better dowry than a small businessman. For a variety of reasons I'm not getting into. So what are we as a nation so far have grown into into Naukarshahi or into actually some kind of a gulami.
Yes.
That mindset, wherever and whichever state you can look at in India, it has changed. That state has always done well. Look at Punjab.
Yes.
Look at the erstwhile Marwadis of Rajasthan. Look at Gujaratis.
Gujaratis
these are people who are not very happy working for somebody else.
Yes.
In fact, that famous thing that Dhirubhai Ambani said, that if you don't translate your dreams, someone else will hire you to translate his.
Yes.
And that is what SMEs must understand. When they entered, obviously they entered with a lot of dreams, a lot of good feelings, a lot of optimism. But that is not the end of the chapter. You have to constantly do it risk-taking, and it must be supported by their family and the society around. So these are factors that our research firstly elicited, and the questioning, the questionnaires were formed around it, and the research was done through there. Now, these are the factors after the analysis of all the data that we collected of the 557 companies. We found, and this is not true only for the automotive industry, it is true for any sector, whether it be in manufacturing or in service, or a mix of both. So first is proactive innovation and their management. How can that happen? It can only happen when there is a constant approach to looking at what's happening within and without. Okay, so therefore, gaining knowledge is one of the things that every SME owner or a manager must take out time for, whether he likes it or not. Okay, then obviously this leads to being sensitive to what is going to happen. Now, what really happened, at least in the automotive industry, we have a thriving ancillary industry, which all of a sudden, as the market started opening up and we being signatories to WTO, we started getting people, MNCs to come, and the licensing norms were reduced. We started getting MNCs with deeper pockets to come in here, make quality. And we also started getting people, companies exporting out of China, South Korea, etc., etc. And we were not able to withstand that. Now, there are two ways of looking at this. One is the defensive way, where we sit down and keep crying. Okay,
yes,
that the government should have stopped it and all. The other is a proactive way, is look at that this is a possibility, and either we defend ourselves or we defend and attack. Okay, so that did not happen, and therefore today when there is a lot of talk about banning China, and we are not able to confidently do it, is because we never wanted to upgrade. We don't even want to, even now. It's only that some kind of a nationalistic chauvinism that we say ban China. Ban China and then do what? Are we ready? And it is still in the domain of MSME. It's not the larger ones. Maruti probably puts together parts. all the parts that are supplied by MSMEs.
Yes.
Okay, so the fact that Maruti is doing well is a result of many MSMEs taking proactive steps. Okay, then financial agility. Now we have already said, because of variety of reasons, that they already always, SMEs are always financially strapped. It is not to say that bigger companies are not. They are.
Yeah.
You know, their problems are bigger. But the ability to be able to manage and very quickly recast yourself can only come out of these two first factors: how innovative you can be about using your financial strategies, and what are the business environment and making the right kind of investments. Okay. Now, all this cannot be achieved if the SME owner or a manager thinks he knows all and whatever he says. You know, this is a very colonial thought.
Yes.
Where we go back that the boss knows everything and therefore we go to him, sir, ye nahi hota, and he will say, okay, do this, and we, you know, just do that.
Yes.
Instead, it is now a participatory kind of thing where the lowest worker must also be, you know, involved. And to do that, there has to be a mindset change, number one. And any new changes that are coming, you know, everyone, all of us resist change. You know, if I'm comfortable sitting like this, why would I do that? In fact, I remember my first AquaGuard, you know, this water filter that I bought. At that time, we had that candle, this thing. And this salesman used to come, and why should I spend my salary at that time was equal to 1 month of the purchase price of this AquaGuard. And so I said, we are living, all of us are living, my children are safe and all. And he persisted, and I you know, and he brought me around. Similarly, SME captain has to manage this constantly, which is a issue of constant monitoring, where we have reached and what, where is the pitfall, what are the barriers. Then, of course, the effect of globalization. Of course, right now, every country is going to try and protect its economy. But ultimately, the money only comes when you go and set up the business and somebody else from outside buys.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't come from, you know, within the house, you keep buying for each other. Okay. So the important thing here would be to look at how, even during the COVID times and post-COVID, how can we reach our products and our services outside? India became a IT giant, not because whatever happened in India.
Yes, definitely.
It became a IT giant because how they could reach out to the world. And of course, and the final thing is, as a result of all this, quality upgradation, technology upgradation is the key. So sometimes there is a shortage of resources that don't help SMEs very much. This is where those engineers, those technically qualified scientists, this is where they come in.
Yes, definitely.
This is where they come in. They don't have to, you know, just keep doing what they're doing. They need to improve.
They need to improve. Update.
It doesn't happen, but the real innovation doesn't happen there, because 2-3 things that are necessary for innovation is ability to do something new, something different, and most importantly, useful. So, and that can be a product, that can be a service, that can be a supply chain, that can be the way you want to reach out. So all those are a part of quality in any case. Okay, so these are the 6 factors that if considered properly, it would. And I am sure, or at least I'm surely hopeful, that these 5 months, when everything was under lockdown, one complaint that the SMEs cannot say that we were so busy that we could not think about it, or we could not do this.
Yes.
You know, and if they do that, then post-COVID is going to be even worse.
Yes.
Because all resources are at the lowest possible, including the human resource. I mean, these migrant workers going back, in many of these SMEs, it is the migrant workers which were
Yes.
doing the hard jobs. So they will not come because there is no money so easily. So unless these 6 factors have been thought through, you know, business planning or business strategy is actually very theoretically speaking and also practically is 4 W's and an H.
Yes.
4 W is what, why, when, and where. But the most important is the H. All these 4 are equal to H. H is the how.
Oh.
You know, so unless the SMEs look at this, it will be difficult for them to be able to even survive now.
Yes.
Particularly with things like AI and things like, you know, that's going to be very unforgiving technology. At once, it is an equalizer, but at the same time, if you've missed the bus, you've missed it permanently. That's the important thing. So here is the study, the results that came out is that there was some successful company and they formed the basis of making those recommendations. There are quite a few, maybe 80% of them who were in this yellow bracket where they were getting along and doing well. Today we don't know. Today, how many of them will come into the red, the sick industry? Okay, and this is the map. They have to design their strategy. Now, strategy does not mean only market, or strategy does not mean how to produce. It's a whole gamut of things. Okay, so that requires a process put in place to make do the business and monitor it, execute that, get feedback, go back again. So that's how. So the successful companies run this chain, perpetually. The not so successful people stop somewhere where they feel, okay, now it's time to, we are happy.
We are happy.
So this is my recommendation for particularly post-COVID. And particularly when technologies like AI, technologies like machine learning, etc. are coming, where a small businessman sitting in a very, very remote corner is equal to the biggest business in that particular segment. Okay, and he can take this e-commerce coming in the way it is. Today, a small shopkeeper, I mean, my wife just ordered wool, and that shopkeeper was sitting somewhere in Haryana, in a very small town called Samalkha. And I'm here in Pune. And it was reached to me. So that guy was equal to very, very large showrooms here.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so how can we constantly keep changing? Because again, using the cliche, change is the only constant. So that is what I am. So this is how it will be. The management takeaway is first, obviously, money. If you have the money, then only you can do. Based on that, using that research resource, how could you plan what you can do, what you can. Sometimes strategy making is not about what you can do. Sometimes it is about rejecting, though you can do it. It is attractive, but doesn't fit into your scheme of things. Sometimes it is that. Government has started a stock exchange. So if you have your business planning in place, it is possible to go here and get cheap funds, because investment is in stock. It doesn't even attract interest. So it is possible to get cheap funds. Now this will happen when you, with your limited financial resources and business planning, if you are able to demonstrate to shareholders that this is going to be a profit-making company, subscriptions and money would come. Important thing that was discovered was they found that there were people who were doing well. And now I'm not talking of only a product, the way they were reaching things, the way they were handling their teams, everything. So these are available in the very same industry. But there is some kind of arrogance. As I told you, Conning effect. that they're not able to. So benchmarking against the best, not only in India, but the world, is an important criteria. And then, of course, various business skills like understanding, financial statements, understanding technical drawings, etc., are all understanding consumer behavior patterns. All these are going to be the thing as you employ technology. So you get machine learning and it can study the customer behavior. But if you don't have the other skills to reinforce it, it's just a data. It's just not even a data. I don't know. It would just be an information. So this is the conclusion. MSME is amongst the most important economic driver. There's no doubt about it. With liberalization and globalization, Indian economy, the propensity of competition coming in is most important, and it's growing dramatically. Okay, though we may raise barriers, our Prime Minister can keep shouting, let's make in India, force companies to come and make in India. But what happens, as I've seen, I mean, if you look at even Maruti, most of their vendors have a Japanese connection.
Yes. Okay.
If you look at Volkswagen as a group, most of their vendors have a European connection. So where do you stand? You will still not be able to. I mean, just being an assembly house doesn't do things. So unless you are able to upgrade, if our engineers are really that good, and if they really have faith in themselves, and if they feel that there is an element of self-esteem in them, then they have to now come forward to face this competition.
Yes.
So all this, I've just said that, and that's my conclusion on this whole thing. So any questions, I'm approachable here or through Mitesh. I'll be happy to mentor anybody. Okay.
No, sir, you have explained each and everything.
Thank you for giving me opportunity.
So thanks a lot, sir, for coming on the board and explain each and everything about SME and MSME industries, about how to get success, about failures, each and everything. So thank you very much, sir.